Hi everybody. It's actually November the 16th, 2016. Now it's 1:30 in the morning. I made a video earlier tonight. I was a little premature in that video. I didn't know how my night was going to progress, and it ended up being a really great night. Took a lot of fairs. Met some really interesting, great people. I really am slowly falling in love with this job because of the people I meet. If you're an introverted person, Uber is not for you. But if you're an extrovert and you like talking to people, this is a great job. It's a great job, and it's very rewarding just to meet all these interesting people and talk to them, even for the 10 or 15 minutes they're in your car. And everybody I've met has been extremely polite, has been extremely thankful, just the nicest people. So I can't say enough good things about everybody tonight, except I will say, if you ever see this, one of my fares was named Alexis. I picked her and her cousin up at the Cole & Denham Entertainment Center, and I haven't really told everybody what I'm driving, what I'm Ubering in, but let's just say that it has a certain panache to it. Not necessarily in a good way, but they were, let's just say they drew their conclusions very quickly from my ride on what kind of person I was, and they kind of assumed that I was a Trump supporter. Now, I am an independent, and there's some things I lean conservative on, there's some things I lean liberal on, and I think there's a lot of gray area out there in politics, but this isn't a politic vlog. So anyway, they immediately came to the conclusion that I was a Trump supporter, and Alexa took it upon herself to spend the next 15-20 minutes trying to convert me to a Bernie Sanders supporter, and I tried to convince her that Bernie Sanders was not a candidate, that it was between Trump and Hillary, and Bernie Sanders was not a choice. And she kept arguing how awesome Bernie Sanders was. I believe she had probably consumed some alcohol or maybe some marijuana. Nothing against her, great girl. No judgment there by any means. But still, she was she was trying really hard to convince me that Bernie Sanders would have been the best president in the world, and I think that's like saying that's like saying the Cleveland Browns would be an awesome Super Bowl MVP. It didn't happen. So why are we even talking about it? So Bernie Sanders ran in this election just like the Browns play football every season. I'm not saying that, and like I said, I'm not trying to get political, but I'm not saying that Bernie Sanders is as terrible as the Browns. I'm just saying that they were not. You can't talk about last year's Super Bowl between the Broncos and the Panthers, and then try to convince somebody how awesome it would be if the Colts were in the Colts would have been the best Super Bowl champion. It's irrelevant. So sure, they tried to get there, but they didn't. So anyway, Alexa, if you ever see this, it was a fantastic conversation. Really made my night. You're a very funny girl, and I hope you aspire to all the political greatness you're aiming for in life. You're definitely very opinionated, and so anyway, I did pick her and her cousin up. They spent a good time trying to convince me that Bernie Sanders was amazing. I had a couple other fairs. I picked one guy up, and we had a real interesting heart-to-heart about his uncle. He found out that his favorite uncle was diagnosed with basically terminal cancer, And you know what? I don't know if I made an impact on that guy, but just me and him talking for the 15, 20 minutes that he was in my car, you know, I don't know if I helped him cope with it, because he actually had spent the night drinking, trying to, you know, drown his sorrows. And, you know, maybe all he wanted was an ear, somebody to talk him through it. And I hope I was that for that guy. So, you know, and I'll be honest with you, I was about to end my night whenever he popped up as a fare, and I almost went home, but I said, no, I'm going to go pick this guy up. I'm glad I did, because, you know, I got to hopefully help him through a rough patch in his life. And I'm just an Uber driver. I'm not a psychiatrist or anything. This is what it feels like to be a bartender, I guess. You get to listen to people's problems, help them out, and then you may never see them again. So, anyway, you know, and then, the funny thing about it is, right after I dropped him off, I said, I'm getting ready, I'm going to go home, I'm done. Guess what? I get a request from Alexa. I didn't know it was her, but I get a ping, I accept it, I go, and then when I pull up to where I dropped them off earlier, I said, no, this can't be right. And sure enough, I text her, I said, hey, I'm outside the apartment, and she called me and said, where are you at? I said, well, I'm around the corner. And she goes, okay, well, aren't you the guy that dropped me off earlier? And I said, yeah. And she goes, oh my God, I'm looking for you, I don't see you anyway. She was excited to see me, because she was excited to spend another 15 or 20 minutes trying to convince me that Bernie Sanders was amazing. But you know what? That's okay, because it was a great conversation, and she didn't convince me that Bernie was amazing. I didn't convince her Trump was going to hopefully be a good president. The only thing we could agree on is that we didn't like Hillary. For whatever that's worth. So far, night 2 was a great experience. And if you're on the fence about being an Uber driver, you really got to take in consideration that if you're an introverted person and you don't like talking to people, you're not a people person, it's the job for you. But if you're an extroverted person, you love meeting people, which I do, this is a great job. And beyond the monetary reward, it's just nice to meet people and make an impact on their life. Like, who knows? I may never see Alexa again. I may pick her up as an Uber on Friday. Who knows? But I'm sure if I do, she'll be trying to convince me that Bernie Sanders is awesome. And I'll just laugh a lot, because that's what I did tonight. So, anyway, just wanted to give you a little follow-up about tonight. And my next video will probably definitely be on Friday. But hope you enjoyed.